Thank you for staying tuned. And moving into the streets of London, let's bring in Juliana Olanka. Good morning, Juliana.
Good morning, Chimmy.
Well, the UK has seen its biggest day-on-day increase in coronavirus cases, bringing the total number to about 87. How prepared really is the UK for this outbreak?
Well, how prepared is the UK? How prepared is any country, really, as COVID-19 continues its world tour? At the moment, we've got the Chief Medical Officer of England and Wales, Chris Whitty. He's speaking in front of lawmakers, describing just exactly how prepared the NHS is. At the moment, what they're suggesting is that it could potentially get out of hand here. As you said, we had the biggest spike yesterday, 37 cases. And I think what's worrying medical professionals here in England is that 4 of those cases were patient to patient. So the 4 hadn't travelled from Italy or haven't travelled from China. They infected it from people who were close around them. So that's concerning for them. We've already been told that they expect that if it does get out of hand, 3 million people could be hospitalised, and that a lot of retired nurses and doctors will be drafted into the NHS as volunteers, as well as people with very low level medical cases being urged to stay away from hospitals. I spoke to you yesterday, didn't I, Chimmy, about these video links as well. That's what GPs around all 4 countries within the UK will be asking patients to do. So if you do have those symptoms, they're saying rather than coming into your GP, there's a telephone number that they're putting out. So, you know, they're trying as best as they can. But I've got to tell you, you know, if you're in the UK at the moment, all you need to do is switch on your TV or open up a newspaper, and COVID-19 or coronavirus is dominating.
And it looks like Flybe has become the first major business casualty of the virus outbreak. Now, the airline has gone into administration, putting 2,000 jobs at risk after a bid for fresh financial support failed. But is Flybe's problem all about COVID-19?
Well, absolutely not. Certainly not about COVID-19, but they were in a difficult situation, and the fact that a lot of people were not booking flights, that made their difficult situation even worse. At about 3 o'clock in the morning, so just about 7 hours ago, their chief executive officer informed staff over email that they would be ceasing business immediate effectively, which has left thousands of people stranded. This is a big breaking news story in the UK, and at the moment, there is a lot of anger, a lot of frustration. It is huge because Flybe was Europe's biggest regional airline. The reason why it was saved by the government just a couple of months ago is purely because it takes people to certain parts of the United Kingdom that you just wouldn't be able to get to. It also helps people link into the major airports like Heathrow, like Gatwick, and that's why Boris Johnson decided to save it. But Labour opposition MPs as well as trade unions are absolutely furious with the government for allowing it to collapse, or what they accuse it of allowing it to collapse, because they say they didn't do enough. One of Boris Johnson's manifesto pledges was to bring back some life to those regions that felt as if they were ostracised away from London. And the fact that Flybe has collapsed is a huge, huge story, and there'll be lots of answers that he must give MPs later today. But because of the outrage and the intense scrutiny around the coronavirus, it hasn't exactly dominated headlines, but it certainly will in days to come.
We'll wait to hear those updates. Anyway, update us on the early market numbers, and are there companies to watch today aside from Flybe?
Well, FTSE 100 opened pretty down. It was about 68 points down. The pound is slightly up against the dollar. It's worth about $1.28. One of the major stories about ITV. ITV, a really big commercial channel here in the UK. Their shares were down 5.5% this morning, and that's because they rely heavily on advertising. And they said in the past 8 to 9 weeks, their advertising revenue has shrunk, and that's because a lot of these tour package holiday operators are just not advertising because people are just not booking their holidays. So at the moment in early trading, ITV shares is the biggest story on the FTSE today.
All right, Juliana, we look forward to getting more update from you later in the day. And for update on today's trading activities at the Nigerian equities market, let's cross over to Temple. Hello, Temple. Now, are the bulls still in the market?
Very much around Chimezie. We're seeing some 55 basis points improvement in the key benchmark indices of the exchange. You know, this is the earnings season. Investors are still looking for space to lock down their money in, and the equities market still possesses some kind of good opportunity for them to do this. As you know, what's been happening in the global market, reducing the risk of sentiment of a lot of the foreign portfolio investors has actually motivated investors to return to the market, and the equities space actually remains a major angle of the capital markets to actually watch, because if you look at what's going on in the OMO side of the market, the treasury bill side of the market, the bond side of the market, the debt markets at large, investors are a little bit being short term. But if you come to the equity space right now, we're seeing some kind of smart investors, speculative investors, a few of them, but more of some of these foreign investors also locking down funds for dividend payments. As we speak, Stanbic IBTC, which is a major financial institution in this climb, has actually released its numbers and, of course, given a bit of forward guidance as to dividends payout. We understand that a final dividend of 2 naira has been proposed by the board, and, of course, the close period for the register of shareholders has been announced, and that is for the 19th of March. In terms of what they've done, top line and bottom line, all of this looks quite impressive. For top line, they've done some 233 billion naira compared to a reduced figure that they have in the base year. And, of course, the profit after tax is also very impressive at some 75 billion naira plus. Now, if you look at what they've also done in the banking side alone, they've done more than 30 billion naira. So, puts together all of the 2 naira per share, or 50 kobo each, that they are now going to be paying out to investors sometimes later this year. You have a total of about 31 billion naira. So, as you know, that sometimes last week when investors checked the number, they actually sold off on this particular company. But this morning we're seeing a revamp, we're seeing some kind of recovery because of these numbers that came in a while ago. We've seen the bank now trading at some 37 naira per share as we speak, and of course some good volume of transaction has actually been exchanged on this particular security as we speak. So folks are bullish on it because, again, this company is out with an impressive number, although that is just the sneak peek that is the result of the sneak peek that we actually gave to the numbers. By the time we drill down to check what they had done in terms of security trading, what are some of the factors that actually drove up the performance, we will then know further how much of investment a lot of investors generally will be able to commit to that. There are another news that I should give you is that of Champs PLC. If you look at what Champs did last year, it was quite impressive. They onboarded some more investors. They had a new chairman, and of course that kind of motivated a lot of investment in that space. Now they've announced their close period, which is 26th of this month, March 2020, and of course the board members will be meeting to deliberate on what should be paid out to investors by way of dividend. We've also seen some cool interest on this particular company lately. This morning, some more than 2 million or 2 to 3 million units of its shares have also been traded. It's a major company that actually traded so well, performed very, very impressively last year, the year 2019. So we'll basically wait to see how much Champs PLC will be committing to investors in that space this year.
Thank you, Temple, for updating us on those. We'll wait and see, and we hope for a profitable trading day today. And that's a wrap on the program. Thank you for watching. I'm Chimezie Obi Iwabu.